So today I wanted to do a video on starting out with Montessori. So we've been doing Montessori at home for probably about 2 years now, and at first it was quite overwhelming, and I didn't really know where to start, and it was very confusing. And I think because it's quite in depth, there's a lot to Montessori. I think it can be a little bit difficult to know where to start, which principles are most important in the beginning. So I'm doing a video just to kind of simplify it for you. Now, just so you know, we're not strict Montessorians here. I never came from Montessori school. I only heard about it, just before my daughter was born. So I am still learning. And I'm also finding other approaches that I really like. So I'm incorporating a lot of kind of Steiner and Waldorf. I really love their emphasis on imaginative play and lots of loose parts and open-ended resources. But I would say there are certain aspects of Montessori that I follow completely. Some kind of amalgamation of a few different approaches, but I certainly like the respectful element of it, and how to play with children, how to speak to children, understanding children and how they play and how they learn, and just following the child. So I'll give you a few, if you're completely new and you want to start out and you don't know where to start and you feel a bit like, what do I do? I'll give you a kind of bit of a rundown on the easiest way to get started. So the first thing I would say is learn to slow down and follow your child. So I think when you're a new parent in particular, you want to do the best for your child. You want to make sure that they are developing correctly or at the right kind of time scale. You don't want your children to be behind, and you want to provide the best learning opportunities and resources for them. And it can be a bit kind of full on. I think you can feel like there's a lot to do when there really isn't. So what I mean by slow down and follow the child is literally that: slow down and don't put pressure on yourself to provide these amazing learning opportunities and resources, because children are natural learners, especially babies, even into toddlerhood. They want to learn. You'll find that you don't really have to do much, and children kind of know what their next step is. If you've got a baby kind of rolling around on the mat, they'll naturally reach out to grab things, and explore things with their hands. So there's really not a lot that you really need to do to encourage that. It's a natural behaviour. So yeah, I would just recommend slowing down, following the child and what they're interested in. You looking and really observing what they're doing. So for example, if you've got a baby who is kind of rolling, reaching out, wanting to touch things, then put things around them that they can kind of work towards touching and grabbing. That's why mobiles are really good, because they naturally reach out and touch them. It's tactile. They're using their senses to taste, to feel, and really exploring with their hands. I really love treasure baskets as well for young children, toddlers. There's so much in there, different kind of materials, different textures, and different kind of soft, hard surfaces, lots of different things that they can explore, shape and size and weight, and these are all really great learning resources. So even if children look like they're not really doing much, they're always learning from their environment. So slow down and don't try and kind of push them to run before they can walk, I suppose, is what I mean. So the next thing I would say is look at your space from the eye of a child and at the child's level. So if you've got a baby or a toddler, then really look at what are they seeing, down at their level, Can they reach things? Are things that are safe to them accessible? So you'll probably see this kind of thing whilst you're looking at Montessori play spaces, which is just a low play shelf. It's accessible to the child. I've got toddlers here, but there's lots of resources here on our shelves which are great for babies as well. This is a kind of treasure basket type approach. Everything's really natural. There's lots of different textures in here that they can explore and play with. A lot of these things you can just find when you're out and about on your travels, so it's super cheap to put together. But yeah, design a play area that's accessible to them, where everything's safe, everything they can touch and grab, and build their independence, and they don't really need your assistance to kind of explore their environment. I think it's really good to have an open, accessible space that they can explore on their own without your assistance to kind of tell them what to play with. So this kind of thing is great. We've also got a bookcase over here with some more materials on. We've just got building blocks, we've got a train set, we've got more building blocks in there, and these magnetic tiles. So lots of things that they can play and put together. In the beginning, it doesn't need to be complicated, just accessible resources. So if you're looking for furniture for your play space, then look for child-sized furniture. Look for tables with small chairs that they can climb up onto, and they can put their feet on the floor so it's comfortable for them. You can use stools as well. This is a fliss-out table from IKEA, and we use this for lots of sensory play and messy play because it has these buckets in there. And then we've just got a couple of chairs here as well. But everything in this room is accessible to them. They don't need to ask for my assistance for anything. They're free to play with whatever they want to play with, however they want to play. So again, over here we've got an accessible rail. Over here are the cloths that they use for wiping. So you might find that you read about practical life skills in Montessori. That's quite a big thing. Practical life skills build a lot of independence. They build a lot of sorts of skills, confidence, independence, fine motor skills, gross motor skills, depending on what they do. So my children do a lot of cleaning. They love wiping and spraying and mopping up spills. They try and sweep. So an activity like sweeping, as well as learning a new skill, they're building their gross motor skills because it's quite a big movement. Fine motor as well, trying to grasp, the handle. And it gives them a purpose as well. So if they continue to use these skills and enjoy them, they're playing an active part in the household as well. So children who take on their own responsibilities feel part of the family and like they have a purpose. So that's what I really love about practical life skills as well. And you're letting them get involved. You're really you're being respectful of their kind of wish to learn a particular skill or want to help in some way. You'll find, especially when they get to toddlerhood, children really want to get involved in what you're doing. They want to help you load the washing machine. They want to help you put the clothes away. They want to help you wash up. They want to help you cook. And these are all really good skills for understanding the world that they're around and playing a part in the life that they live. So yeah, practical life skills are really, really good. So another really important part of Montessori is being respectful of the child. And what I mean by that is respecting their right as an individual and as a person. Speaking to them as you would any other adult. Just because a child is young, they don't know as much, it doesn't mean that they need to be talked down to, and it doesn't mean that just because they can't communicate as well that you can't try to be understanding of them and their needs. So I think sometimes it depends where you come from within your kind of history, background, childhood. I think some parents can naturally be quite respectful, and some can find it hard and take more of a kind of authoritarian approach. So lots of kind of direction, telling the child what to do, kind of taking charge of their day. and not really respecting the child's wishes. So the best way to kind of learn to be respectful is to really listen to the child and what they're trying to tell you. Consider them when you're planning the day and activities and routines. Consider their needs and whether they really want to do those things. Um, and if you're respectful of the child and continue to be, then you do get a better response from them. They learn that you're trying to understand them, and they learn to respect you. If you talk to them in the appropriate way, not telling them not what to do, not bribing them, not punishing them for things, then yeah, they learn to be respectful themselves. It can be difficult because children are difficult. They're young, they're still learning, they're not fully developed, especially in their brain. So there's certain behaviours that they inhibit that they just can't control. There's toddler tantrums, there's screaming, there's lots of horrible things that parents have to deal with, like throwing toys, aggression, pushing, hitting, biting. They're all difficult behaviours to deal with, and at those times it can be really hard to be respectful and keep your cool and try and be in an understanding kind of frame of mind. But I think the best way, the thing that helps me the most, is remembering that they can't control their behaviour and they're not doing it on purpose, and they're not developed enough to really understand how to behave. And it's for us to kind of keep calm and kind of show the appropriate way to deal with difficult situations, because if you're freaking out about something and you're getting angry, you can only expect them to kind of mimic that and behave the same way. So as an adult, I think, and a parent, it's for us to try and keep cool and assess the situation and just be understanding, loving and respectful of their feelings. So yeah, when it comes to being respectful, just really listen to the child, and just try and understand their point of view, as if you're dealing with an adult, but sometimes an adult that acts a little bit crazy, because children do. So yeah, that's a very big part of Montessori, is really being respectful, and working on yourself in a way that you can be calm and you can show up for your child in the best possible way, because it's so important for us to look after ourselves in order to be in a good frame of mind, in order to be positive, open, loving, caring, understanding, good communicator. All of these things don't always come naturally, especially if you're under stress and and you're not looking after yourself. So to really be the best parent, I think we have to really look after ourselves so that we can show up and give all these wonderful things that children need us to give. So the last one is in the way that you interact with your child when they're playing. So it's basically letting them explore without being directed. I think it can be hard to, when you want a child to learn a particular thing, it can be easy to kind of direct them that way and kind of lead their play, but it's really, really important to let them make their own discoveries. So if you're in the garden and they've spotted I don't know, they've spotted a rock that they want to explore. If you go over there and grab it for them, bring it to them, and you're already exploring and telling them all about it, then you're kind of robbing them from making that discovery themselves. So just letting them explore, following along and just being their guide, but not leading their play, not telling them what to play with, not kind of taking their experiences away from them. So sometimes it involves really sitting on your hands, and because I'm very handsy, I don't want to be like, but I have to sit on my hands and just watch and observe and just kind of let them lead their play and not get too involved. Particularly in the beginning when Mia was younger, I used to do that a lot. I used to look at this, and do you want to play with this, and it's exciting being a new parent and playing with your child and having fun with them and showing them things, and you want to show them everything. But yeah, it's really important just to step back and just try not to take charge of their play and let them be independent, play with what they want to play with, however they want to play with it, make their discoveries, and just kind of be their guide and be there to assist in any way that you need to. So I hope that was helpful. Also, I did want to show you. So another thing I would say is do your research. There's so many like videos you can watch on Montessori. Instagram's good for inspiration if you're setting up your play space. And one of the first books that, well, not one of the first books, but one of the books that I would recommend for people who are new to Montessori is The Montessori Toddler by Simone Davies. I'll link it below. It's a really good book. It's been super popular, and I really love it because it's got some great examples in there of Montessori play spaces, and it really does go kind of right to the basics of setting up your area and what to consider, you know, if you're starting out in Montessori. Also, if you want to learn more about respectful parenting and positive parenting, then I listen to a lot of podcasts by Janet Lansbury. She also has some books as well. And hi, Daddy. And so yes, have a look. I'm just finishing my video, Babby. So yeah, have a look for her online. There's loads of stuff. Loads of advice on about. Okay, so I better cut this short now. But yes, thank you so much for watching again. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be posting more videos soon. So don't forget to subscribe. Okay.